Good morning, my dear students. In the previous class, we were discussing about the poem on children. In the previous class, we learnt that a woman who was holding a babe against her bosom asked the prophet to speak on children. The prophet began his speech with a shocking declaration that your children are not your children. He also says, children come from the parents but not from them. They come through the parents but not from them. That means parents are only the biological means through which the children come into existence on this earth. The speaker also says that the children live with the parents, but they do not belong to them. They do not belong to the parents. He also says that parents have to look after their children with love, but they should not try to impose their ideas and thoughts upon the children. Then the parents give shelter to their bodies. Parents give shelter to the bodies of the children, but they cannot protect their souls. Parents protect the bodies of the children, but they cannot protect their souls. Why? Because children's souls dwell in the house of tomorrow. What's the meaning of that? In the examination, they may ask you, what do you mean by they dwell in the house of tomorrow? That means children have their own vision of life. Children have their own vision of life. They have their own aspirations. They have their own dreams. They have their own goals. So thus, if you come across a question like this, what do you mean by their house, their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow? So if you write the answer, children have a different vision of life, that is enough. So thus, the poet says, the parents can only protect their bodies, but they cannot protect their souls, because their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which cannot be reached by the parents at any cost. The speaker also says, if possible, the parents should try to be like the children. But they should not force the children to be like them. The parents, if possible, the speaker says, should be like the children, and they should not force the children to be like them. To be like them. Why? Because the poet says, the life never goes backward. The life never goes backward. Nor our life tarries with yesterday. Tarries means what? Stay for a long time. Stay for a long time. So thus the poet says, that the parents, they should try to be like the children, but they should not force the children to be like them. Why? Because life never goes backward. Life never goes backward, nor our life stays with the past or yesterday. Is it not? Our life goes forward. It will not go backward. That's why the poet tells the parents not to force the children to be like them or to follow their path. So this is what we learned in the previous class. And now I have a few questions for you. You may give them your love, but not your dash. You may give them your love, but not your dash. What the parents should not impose on the children? Their thoughts. Answer is their thoughts. Next question. According to the Prophet, what may be given to the children? According to the Prophet, what may be given to the children? What may be given to the children? That is love. Parents should give their children their love, but not their thoughts. Next question. Where, according to the speaker, our children dwell? Where, according to the speaker, our children dwell? What's the answer? The answer is they dwell in the house of tomorrow. Next question. Who dwell in the house of tomorrow? What's the answer? Children. Who dwell in the house of tomorrow means children. Children dwell in the house of tomorrow. Next, let us see what the poet says. Next, the poet says that you are the boss. You here refers to whom? Parents. So you are the boss. That means parents are the boss. Parents are compared to boss. ಬೋ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಬಿಲ್ಲು ಅಂತಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು, ಬಿಲ್ಲು ಬಾಣ ಅಂತಿದಲ್ಲ, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಬೋ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಬಿಲ್ಲು. So thus the poet says the parents are the bows from which children as living arrows are sent forth. Parents are the bows from which the living arrows children are sent forth. So here arrows refers to whom? Arrows refers to children. Arrows refers to children. So that the poet says parents are like the bows from which the living arrows, that is children, are sent forth. That means what? Here the parents are used as a means for the success of the students or for the success of the children. The God uses parents as a bow for the success of the children. For the success of the children. Then the poet also says the archer. The archer ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಬಿಲ್ಲುಗಾರ, ಆ ಬಿಲ್ಲು ಮತ್ತೆ ಬಾಣವನ್ನ ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸುವಂತಹ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ. The archer. Who is the archer here? Who is the archer here? Here the archer refers to the God. The God is the archer. So thus you have to remember here the bows refers to parents, arrows refers to children, the archer refers to the God. So thus the archer now sees the mark upon the path of infinite ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ವಿತೌಟ್ ಲಿಮಿಟ್, ಅನಂತವಾದ. ಇನ್ಫೈನೈಟ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ವಿತೌಟ್ ಲಿಮಿಟ್, ಅನಂತವಾದ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ. ಸೊ ದಸ್ ದ ಆರ್ಚರ್ ನೌ ಸೀಸ್ ದ mark upon the path of infinite. That means you know very well, the world is very wide. The world is very wide. The world is infinite. So in this infinite world, the God sees the mark upon the path of the infinite, and later he bends the bow. With his might. He bends the bows with his might. Might ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? Strength, ಶಕ್ತಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ. The archer bends. Bend ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಬೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಂತಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು, ಬಗ್ಗಿಸೋದು ಅಂತಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು. The archer bends the bow with his might so that his arrows will go swift and far. Swift ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ವೇಗವಾಗಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ವೇಗವಾಗಿ. So he bends the bow. So that his arrows will go swift and far. Far ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ FAR far ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ದೂರ, ತುಂಬಾ ದೂರದವರೆಗೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ. So thus, here the poet says that the parents are like the bows, children are like the arrows, the God is the archer, and the God in this infinite world, he bends the bow. He bends the bow means that is he gives stress and strain to the parents. He gives stress and strain to the parents. Why he gives stress and strain to the parents? So that the arrows will go swift and far. That means the archer, the God, bends the parents so that for the success of the children. So thus now the poet says the God uses the parents as a means for the success of the students. So that is the meaning of the God bends the bows with his might so that the arrows will go swift and far. The poet also tells the parents that they should think that the God or the archer is bending them for gladness. Gladness andre happiness. So thus the parents should think that their bending in the hands of the archer is for happiness, is for their own happiness and for the happiness of the children. That's how the parents should think. So when the God gives them stress and strain, when the God bends them, when the God bends the parents, that means when the God gives stress and strain to the parents should think their bending in the hands of the archer, that is the God, is for their own gladness and the gladness of the children. Finally, the poet says, just because he bends the bows, it does not mean then He loves the children and he hates the parents. So that's why finally the author says the archer, that is the God, he loves the arrows that flies, and at the same time he loves the bows that are stable. He loves the bows that are stable. In this way, the poet concludes the poem by saying that he loves both the children and the parents. He loves both the children and the parents. So this is the end of the poem on children. So thus the poet concludes by saying that the God, the archer, he loves both the parents and the children. He might give some stress and strain to the parents, but it does not mean that he hates the parents. He loves both the parents and the children. That's the end of this poem on children. Now, I will give you the summary of this poem. You know very well, this is a poem written by Khalil Gibran, a Lebanese-American poet and artist. His poems are called as poetic essays because he do not adhere to usual versification. All his poems are published in a book by name The Prophet. So thus, The Prophet is a collection of poems written by Khalil Gibran. On Children is an extract from the book The Prophet. In this poem, the poet, or through this poem, the poet offers to guide the parents on the essence of parenting with love, much against mundane expectations. Coming to the poem, one day a prophet was addressing the audience. A woman from the audience asked the prophet, a woman who was holding a babe against her bosom, asked the prophet to speak on children. The prophet began his speech with a shocking declaration that your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for excellence. So what is the meaning of your children are not your children? That means the parents do not own them. Parents do not own them. They should be independent and they should be allowed to grow freely. So if in the examination, if they ask you to write the meaning of your children are not your children, what do you mean by that? That means the answer that you have to write is children should be independent and they should be allowed to grow freely. The poet also says children come through the parents but not from the parents. That means what? That means parents are only the biological means through which the children's life comes into existence on this earth. Children and parents are chosen by God. Children and parents are chosen by God. And parents are only the channel through which children come to this universe. That's the meaning of they come through you but not from you. The parents do not own the children. Of course, children live with the parents, but they do not belong to them. Children live with the parents, but they do not belong to them. Parents have to give their love to the children. They have to look after their children with love and care. But they should not try to impose their ideas and thoughts upon the children. Why they should not impose their thoughts and ideas upon the children? Because children, they have their own ideas, thoughts and aspirations. So, parents should not try to impose their ideas and thoughts upon the children. Parents may protect, or it's their duty to protect the bodies of the children, but they cannot protect their souls. Parents cannot protect their souls. Why the parents cannot protect their souls? Because their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow. Their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which cannot be reached by the parents even in their dreams. Even in their dreams. So what's the meaning of their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow? I have already told you. That means children will have a different vision of life. They have their own aspirations. They have their own thoughts. And that's the meaning of their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow. They live with so many aspirations of tomorrow. They live with a vision of life of tomorrow. The speaker also says, the parents, if possible, they should be like the children, and they should not force the children to be like them. They should not force the children to be like them. Why? Why the parents should not force their children to be like them or to follow their path? Why? Because our life never goes backward, nor our life tarries with yesterday. That means nor our life stays with yesterday. Stays with yesterday. We keep moving forward. We will not go backward, and we cannot go backward. We cannot go back. So thus, the speaker says that they should not force the children to be like them, because life never goes backward, nor our life stays with the yesterday. Then the poet compares the parents to the bows, children to the arrows, and the archer to the god. By giving this comparison, the poet says, the parents are the bows from which their children as living arrows are sent forth. Parents are the bows from which the children as living arrows are sent forth. Sent forth ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಮುಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಕಳಿಸೋದು. So thus, here the poet says that the parents are used as the means for the success of the children. The archer, who is the God, now sees the mark upon the path of infinite. That is, in this wide world, the archer, he bends the bows with his might, with his strength. The God, the archer, bends the bows. That means the archer gives stress and strain to the parents with his might. Why he bends the arrows? Why? Because he wants his arrows, that is children, to go swift and far. He wants the children to go swift and far. So thus, by using the parents, now the God wants to see the success of the children. So thus, the God uses parents for the success of the children. The poet also says that the parents should feel that their bending in the hands of the archer is for gladness. Is for the gladness of the children and the gladness of their own family. In this way, the poet says that the parents should not feel sad because the archer is bending them for the success of the children. Instead, the parents should feel that their bending in the hands of the archer is for the gladness of their own family. Finally, the poet concludes the poem by saying that just because the archer bends the bows, it does not mean that the God or the archer hates the parents. He loves both the children and the parents. He loves the arrows that flies, and he also loves the bows, that is parents, which are stable. So thus, through this poem, the poet Khalil Gibran tells the parents that they have to bring up their children with love, and children should be given independence, and they should be allowed to express themselves as individuals. That's what the poet Khalil Gibran tries to tell the parents through this poem, Our Children. So now, don't think too much of this poem. Now I have told you the summary. If you write this summary in the examination, final examination, with the introduction to the poem, that will be more than enough. Why? Because many a times students come and ask us to explain the poem On Children once again. They did not understand it. But this is a very simple and beautiful poem. Don't think too much about this poem. I told you the summary now. If you follow this summary, that's enough for the examination. Now, I'll give you some 1 marks questions. Write down those questions and try to find the answers for those questions. I have already asked those questions and I have already told you the answer. Now write down the questions. First question. Where did a woman hold a babe? Where did a woman hold a babe? Second question. What did the woman ask the Prophet? What did the woman ask the Prophet? Next question. What did the Prophet say to her at first? What did the Prophet say to her at first? Next one. They come through you, not from you. They come through you, not from you. What do the words they and you refer to? What do the words they and you refer to? Next question. You may give them your love, but not your dash. You may give them your love, but not your dash. Next question. According to the Prophet, what may be given to the children? According to the Prophet, what may be given to the children? Next one. Where, according to the speaker, our children dwell. Where, according to the speaker, our children dwell. Where, according to the speaker, our children dwell. Next question. Who dwell in the house of tomorrow? Who dwell in the house of tomorrow? Next one. What does the bows, arrows, archer refer to? What does the bows, arrows, archer refer to? Next one. How does the archer wants his arrows to go? How does the archer wants his arrows to go. Next question. Why does the archer want to bend the parents? Why does the archer want to bend the parents? Do you know the answer? I'll tell the answer for this question. To test the stability of parents. Why the archer bends the parents? The answer is to test the stability of parents. To test the stability of parents. Next question. What, according to the parents, what according to the speaker? What, according to the speaker, can parents not visit? What, according to the speaker, can parents not visit? Next question. What does the archer see in the poem? What does the archer see in the poem? Next question. Why does the prophet makes a shocking declaration? Your children are not your children. Why does the prophet make a shocking declaration that your children are not your children? Next question. According to the poet, what attitude should the parents have? What attitude should the parents have towards their children? So all of you try to find answer to these questions. I hope all of you have understood the poem. The poem is very simple to understand. Even a layman can understand this poem. It's very simple.